building and growing a successful e-commerce brand, it's a lot fucking more than being able to set up ads and being able to make creatives. It's a whole lot more than that. In fact, you need infrastructure, you need customer support, you need teams, you need team management, you need automations, you need supply systems, you need inventory management, you need recruitment processes, and the list freaking goes on, right? You need a lot of things in order to actually build a business, a e-commerce business that is quote unquote scalable, because it's really become a buzzword, I think. So let's say, sure, you can make 100K on running your own little Shopify store, right? But you will never have a true growth potential until you get the fundamentals in place first. Because as long as you're one person doing everything, or two people doing everything based on what's in your head, well, no one else can come there and help you, right? If your head isn't there, well, then the business doesn't run. We don't want that. A business that has value, a high value business, is an asset that you can buy and sell, you can trade, right? That will still bring value, although the owner is not necessarily there, right? So if you as an owner is required to be in your business in order for it to scale and grow, well, then you need to think about, how are my fundamentals? What manuals do I have? What processes do I have? What systems do I have? How can someone else actually help me run this and hopefully do it better than I'm able to right now? So it's the exact same concept with my own agency here. It's called Keelan, by the way, keelan.dk, look it up. We're focusing right now on hiring the right people and building the right systems. So we're focusing on hiring the right people and building the right systems, right? Because this is what will help us long-term actually grow the agency and make it into an actual established company rather than a glorified freelance thing, right? So it's literally like taking 3 steps back to get today, to get 10 ahead tomorrow. And I've said this a lot, I really like it. I could just go with the flow and have a freelance-based company, and there is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with if you just want to make a few bucks, get something to work, get some experience. I think actually it's a really, really good thing. But for me, what I want to do is I want to build an asset that I can step out of, go on vacation for a year, come back, and now this asset is worth even more. That's what I want to do. I would like to, and not even having this is actually not what I want. I want to learn how to generate this type of asset. I want to have the knowledge and skills to know how to do this. That's the value that I see in it, and that is why I'm taking this long-term perspective. Yeah, exactly. So if I am to do this in a super crowded e-commerce market, which I've chosen, I need to be really, really good at what I do, right? I need to hire amazing people. I need to build amazing teams that uses amazing processes, that delivers amazing result, that make for an amazing social proof of branding, that makes me able to charge more, which makes me able to deliver even better service, and then the loop goes again, right? I've mentioned this before. So it's basically building a system, right? I want to build a system. And there is another thing here, arguably, if you are still needed in order for your company to grow, you have not really built a true passive asset. You have just built another job and a fancy title for yourself, right? Oh, look at me. I'm calling myself CEO of my own company, right? I'm just being a little cheeky, I mean, I believe my LinkedIn probably says like owner or founder or something like, ooh, look at that. I'm founder of my own company. I know how to go in and make a CVR number, right? There is nothing wrong with it. I'm just calling out that, there is, if you think about it, there is a whole lot more to it than just that. So if I want to make an organization where I can go on a 1-year trip around the globe and come back and see that it has evolved, that's exactly what I want to do, right? So that is what it means to own a business, at least to me. Anything else than that, and either you are a manager or you're self-employed, which again is completely fine, but it is just not what I intend for myself, and it is not the things that I want to learn, essentially. I want to learn them because it's like on the stepping ladder, right, to get somewhere, but it's not my end goal. So how do we go about this? What is for the company that I'm building now? What is the step-by-step process? What steps do I take to actually get to my desired outcome of having an asset that I can step out of, right? Well, step number one is that I try to define exactly what it is that I do. This is the first step. What do I do? Who do I do it for? And why do I do it? And the why being, don't say money, right? Because if you say money, then you will die. You'll not make it. If you're in a very competitive market and you want to build a business in it and you only do it for the cash flow, there is a very high possibility that you're just gonna get sad and stressed. So let me tell you that, find a why, figure out what do you want to do. So for me, for instance, I want to work with people that I believe have a really good idea. And I found out that a lot of the people who has like good, crazy, weird ideas that might actually work very well, very often these people, they need help with the business side of things because they have a difficulty in monetizing that company in a smart way, right? So I want to go in and be able to help them with that because I'm not good at generating new ideas. I completely suck at it. So I want to be able to basically make myself an asset that are good at doing these things, because then I can get to know a lot of these people and figure out how all of that works. That's my own personal interest. That is my why. That is my motivation to do this. And once you have a motivation that is not monetary, well, then I believe you're going to get a whole lot further. Step number two is we want to make processes of how exactly we help them to the degree that someone else can actually step in and do this. Right? So we don't just want to have in my head, oh, I know that, if I need to set up the ads, I do this, I do that, I need to install the page, blah, blah, blah. No, we need to make a process that is clear enough that we can get someone else to do it. Why do we want to do that? Well, that is how a business becomes scalable, right? Because again, remember, the future value of a company is how much revenue potential it has and how likely it is that this revenue actually happens, right? What is the potential to make money? How big is the market for this particular thing that we do? And what is the likelihood that we actually capture a significant amount of that market? And then you take this whole calculation and you make what's called a discounted cash flow back to today. And then you say like, this is the price, right? Nerdy stuff, look it up. Investopedia.com, I believe, is a pretty good source for this. I'll link it down in the description below. But basically, in order for something to be scalable, we need systems, right? Because if we don't have systems, there is a limit as to how many accounts I can handle by myself. So we have a cap on this, right? So it cannot go above that. If it does, either results drop or Oliver gets super stressed and he doesn't want to do it anymore, right? So we need to build systems and processes where we can add in a person or a machine, if that was it, to help us solve some of these problems so we can solve more problems. That's how we actually make it scalable. And the best way to do it is to do it in the beginning, because what I found out is that now that I'm trying to do it where I'm like a good way into, or not a good way in because it's still a very new company, but I've taken it seriously for about half a year, right? And already now, half a year, it's nothing. It's so short, right? But already now, you would not believe the length of my freaking to-do list with how many processes and systems I need to build in order for someone else to take this over. It's insane. So just do it from the beginning. I promise you, it will save you so much time. So example, if you provide advertising on Facebook, you would make a manual for what exactly that involves. So the setup, the management, the optimization, the client status, installation of tracking, blah, 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 whatever, right? Step 3, begin hiring people to fill in those processes for you. So what we've done is we've made some processes already. Some of the processes are finished in some parts of the company, which is where I have now hired in people. I have 3 people right now that are hired in to handle those processes. And the only way that I could actually begin hiring people in to do this is because I had clearly defined what it is that we need to do, what is the outcome we want, how do we do it, all of this. Then they work with it, and with time, they will become more expert at it than I am, and I will be listening to their advice and refining these processes so that we can make that even better, right? So after you have the manuals, after you have the SOPs, the standard operating procedures, well, then you begin to hire people to fill in these processes for you. So every time you have completed a process that, if done, and this is just my own rule of thumb, so every time you have completed a process that, if done, 80% as well as you do it, would still benefit the business, hire someone else to do it. And of course, there are many factors in this. Do we have the money to hire them? Do we know where to find them? Do we even have the talent for this? Blah, blah. Like, there are a lot of things I know, but the idea is just, if we can get someone else to do this and still get value from it, get someone else to do it, because then you can free up time and you can do much more leveraged activities with that time. For instance, making SOPs for something else, right? Because this is something that you can take, and if it's done correctly, you can multiply it, right? Whereas if you keep doing that thing yourself and don't make a manual for it, you'll still just be able to do that one activity, which is not necessarily leveraged, right? Step number 4, like I said, move to higher leveraged activities and continue. So example of higher leveraged activities would be something like branding, like this video, for instance. The way that it works, if I were, just to put it into context, if I were contacting one person and telling them all of this, it would be a one-to-one communication, right? But because I make a video and I put it on the internet, I share it on YouTube, I share it on my Instagram, I share it on my Twitter, I share it everywhere I can, I send it out to my email list, everything, right? It becomes a way for me to mass communicate. So it's a leveraged activity as compared to doing it one-to-one, right? So this is what we want to do. And the benefits of that is that it helps build branding, it helps get the word out, blah, 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 whatever, right? So that is essentially the 4 steps that I use to go about this. And with that said, I hope this was valuable for you. I've recorded like what will end up being like 3 videos now. That I will do everything that I can to get edited, to get sent out to YouTube. And hopefully, I really, really would appreciate it if you could give me some feedback. And it doesn't have to be good. If you know me, if you're one of my friends and you think this is shit, then please tell me, because it's much more easy to improve when you know what works and what doesn't work than if you have to guess your way through it. So any positive feedback, please let me know. Any negative feedback, please let me know. I appreciate both of you, all of it. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't like it, please comment instead of putting thumbs down, because if you put thumbs down, well, then we limit our reach. And if you comment, we extend the reach and I will still get your feedback. Haha, clever, clever. So with that said, I'm wishing you all an amazing day. Goodbye.